Hello everyone and welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars. I hope your day is already sparkling, because what I am about to tell you turned an ordinary Tuesday into a headline tornado. You saw the title, you felt that jolt in your chest, and yes, it is exactly as dramatic as it sounds. The seismic news about Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda has left the industry rubbing its eyes in disbelief and set social media ablaze. If you adore every heartbeat of celebrity romance and every twist of showbiz destiny, settle in, because we are unpacking it all, layer by delicious layer, with the care and curiosity you expect right here at Whispers of Turkish Stars. So, what exactly broke loose on January 28, 2026? A revelation that hit like a cinematic thunderclap. For ages, whispers circled like birds above a set after wrap. Would they meet again in front of the camera? Would their parallel paths finally intersect? Today, those whispers became a chorus. It is official. After months, arguably years, of cautious silence, elusive glances, and clever evasions in interviews, Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda have confirmed a joint film project. Not a cameo, not a brief scene in someone else's story, but a sweeping, ambitious, big-screen collaboration that aims to reshape the contours of their careers and, if early buzz is any measure, ignite a fresh wave of international attention around Turkish cinema. The confirmation arrived with the kind of elegant understatement that drives fans wild. A minimalist poster, two silhouettes nearly touching in a wash of dusk, one fleeting caption, and a director's name that made jaws drop. This is not a routine romantic drama. Insiders describe a major production with the precision of a watchmaker and the daring of an artist who thrives on risk. The script is still guarded like a crown jewel, yet the breadcrumbs scattered are perfect for the obsessives among us. The tone leans towards psychological drama, a pulse of romantic tension woven through, and yes, those tantalizing edges of suspense that keep your breath hovering between sigh and gasp. Now, let's place this in context. Both Gökberk and Cemre are adored not just for their faces that command the camera, but for the way they inhabit emotion like it is a second skin. Their trajectories have been a masterclass in range. He has slipped between genres with the ease of a chameleon, going from brooding intensity to restrained tenderness without ever losing authenticity. She has made a specialty of characters who look unbreakable until they choose to reveal a single, devastatingly human crack. Years ago, when their careers bent toward each other on television, audiences united under a single spell. Since then, each has carved out a solo legacy, but the hunger to see them share oxygen on the same frame never faded. It matured. It waited. And now it arrives like a long-withheld confession. The filmmaker steering this ship is internationally renowned, a storyteller whose work has conquered festivals and box offices in equal measure. The moment the name appeared on that announcement, critics started composing think pieces in their heads. Industry veterans nodded like they had been expecting this union of talent and vision all along. And fans? Fans lost it in the best possible way. Timelines flooded. Old clips resurfaced. Compilations of glances, laughter, and stolen moments amassed millions of views overnight. The memes were affectionate, the edits cinematic, and the comments read like a chorus of collective relief. Finally, a reunion worthy of our patience. What do we know of the narrative? Nothing confirmed, everything teased. The rumor mill suggests a love that collides with moral ambiguity, a past that refuses to remain buried, and choices no heart should be forced to make. Picture Gökberk as a man haunted by decisions that once seemed noble but now keep him awake, a character defined by a dignity he struggles to protect. Picture Cemre as the woman who has rebuilt herself, resilient but not unfeeling, elegant yet aflame beneath the surface. It is the kind of pairing that begs for close-ups and quiet silences, where a look can carry the weight of a paragraph and a pause says more than a monologue. And the scale? Monumental. We are talking about a film that was conceived for the largest canvas, with a budget that signals confidence and an aesthetic that promises to be unforgettable. Early location scouts took place in a coastal town where the sea looks like poured ink at night, and in an old quarter whose stones have listened to centuries of secrets. Production design is said to flirt with realism while nodding to a lyrical visual language, giving the actors room to echo their characters' inner weather. Costuming will trace arcs, the evolution of both protagonists visible through fabric and color, armor becoming softness, or the reverse. The supporting cast remains wrapped in mystery, but whispers speak of a constellation of talent from Turkey and beyond. A familiar powerhouse name is in advanced talks for a pivotal mentor role, while a rising international star could be tapped to play an antagonist who is not a villain so much as a mirror. That blend raises expectations for a festival run, with prime slots on the horizon, red carpets bathed in flashbulbs, and interviews that will be parsed for subtext. Distribution circles are already murmuring about global reach, about the hunger for refined melodrama offered in a contemporary package. Let's talk about timing, because anticipation needs a clock to wind itself around. The plan, as it stands today, is a release in the second half of 2026. That gives the team room to breathe, to sculpt, to chase perfection in editing, sound, and score. It gives us months of teases, of stills that invite theories, of trailers that will be watched frame by frame like detective work. Ticket platforms will see wishlists grow. Every behind-the-scenes snapshot will birth its own story. Marketing will likely play this like a symphony, starting with a single note, then adding strings, brass, and percussion until opening night feels inevitable. What did they say, the very people at the center of this storm? Their first statements were guarded, glowing, mature. Gökberk thanked the director for a script that made him rethink what love and guilt can look like on screen, adding that there is a strange comfort in risking yourself with a partner who knows how you breathe in a scene. Cemre called the project a chance to visit rooms in her craft she had never dared enter, and she spoke about trust like it was currency, earned over years and carefully spent. Neither promised miracles. Both promised honesty, effort, and respect. It was measured, and somehow that made it even more thrilling. Of course, with news of this magnitude, opinion columns have started staking out their corners. Some say this is the project that recenters Turkish cinema in the global conversation, proof that what once lived as a whisper now roars across borders. Others wonder if expectations can be met when nostalgia is part of the equation. The answer, for many, lies in the credibility of the creative team. But the prevailing mood is electric, a feeling that the stars have chosen the exact right moment to align. Let's indulge a little speculation, because that is half the fun. Imagine an opening scene where the camera follows Cemre through a wind-lashed street, hair pulled into a practical knot, eyes scanning for a ghost from her past. Cut to Gökberk, alone with the low hum of a recorder, practicing a confession he cannot bring himself to speak aloud. Their first meeting is not romantic, it is charged, brittle, necessary. The plot burrows into a secret buried under years of good intentions, and the lovers we root for must question not only each other, but the versions of themselves they have outgrown. A romantic thriller where the kisses ache and the arguments cut, where redemption feels earned and costly. Think of the press tour. The slow dance of interviews, the way they will sit side by side and offer stories with that practiced warmth, laughing at the right moments, going quiet when the question hits a nerve. Watch for the stylistic synergy, complementary palettes, small nods to character without slipping into costume. Photoshoots will channel understated glamour, trusting their faces, their hands, their shared air. And yes, every gesture will be dissected. The glance passed between answers, the hand at the small of a back as they move through a crowd. The story outside the frame becomes an echo of the story within it, that is part of the spell. Meanwhile, fans are doing what fans do best, building a world of participation. Fan art blossoms overnight in galleries of timelines and feeds. Editors remix old scenes with speculative new scores. Thinkers publish threads that trace the evolution of their acting styles, moment by moment, breath by breath. The devotion is not casual, it is curated, informed, affectionate. This is what happens when two careers intersect with the intimacy of long-term spectatorship. People have grown up with them, or grown into themselves while watching them, and this reunion becomes both a gift and a landmark. Producers and directors have also weighed in, praising the move as both brave and inevitable. To bring together two artists with such cultivated instincts under the guidance of a director who understands tension and restraint? It suggests a work that could define a season, maybe a year. Some speak of a renaissance, a fresh wave where Turkish cinema exports not just familiar formats, but auteur-driven stories that balance scale with soul. If execution matches intention, doors open. New partnerships form. The audience enlarges and diversifies. But the heart of this story remains disarmingly simple. Two artists, two paths, a shared risk. The chemistry that once caught fire is being placed into the crucible again, not to replicate the past, but to test how far they have come. This is not nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It is an evolution. And that makes the promise sharper. We are not being asked to remember, we are being invited to witness. So here we are, standing at the beginning of a build-up that will make the months feel both quick and endless. Expect teaser posters that give away almost nothing and yet keep you thinking. Expect interviews that reveal craft more than plot. Expect a trailer that baits with a single line you will not be able to stop quoting. Expect a score that seeps into your bones. By the time we reach the second half of 2026, by the time those curtains pull back and the lights dim, the accumulated anticipation will feel like a tangible thing, a shared heartbeat across cities and languages. And you know we will be tracking every beat for you here at Whispers of Turkish Stars. We will analyze the clues, celebrate the artistry, and sift through the rumors with care. We will listen to your theories, feature your sharpest observations, and keep this conversation lively, respectful, and fun. Because this is not just a story about a film, it is a moment that belongs to everyone who loves to be swept away by performance, by story, by the kind of chemistry you cannot manufacture. Before we wrap, I want to hear from you. Are you ready to see Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda find their way to each other on the silver screen once more, armed with everything they have learned since the last time fate placed them side by side? What kind of ending do you imagine for a tale woven from longing, truth, and second chances? Do you want the catharsis of forgiveness, or the bittersweet beauty of parting with grace? Tell us what you hope for in the comments. Your words shape the journey we take together. If this deep dive fed your curiosity and fanned your excitement, show it some love. Tap like, share this with that friend who never stops sending you edits, and make sure you are subscribed to Whispers of Turkish Stars with notifications on, so the next hint, the next crumb, the next piece of this evolving puzzle reaches you the second it drops. Thank you for spending this time with us, for your trust, and for your passion. Take a breath, hold on to it, and get ready. The countdown has begun, and somewhere on a quiet set, two actors are stepping into a scene that might just belong to all of us.